Good afternoon, and welcome back. This is Kaylin coming at you with part 2 of the French RCIR Halal Menu 1. And so the lunch today will be, this is tuna with potatoes, and there's also assorted vegetables in there in a tomato sauce. This is the fish soup. According to the ingredients, it has some bits of seafood of some sort. It says, I'm assuming crustaceans. I'm not sure. It didn't specify, but it's got some vegetable flavorings or bits. And I pulled out 2 more of the biscuits, the savory and the chocolate. So that there are 2 in each pack. And I have pulled out the 3 fruit bars. This one is actually apricot, not peach. Don't know if it'll... It's apricot or apricot. This is a combination of peach and apricot. And this one is the tropical fruit. It's a fruit mix of nougat. I have the second of the 2 coffees and a pack of sugar. This is the mint tea. It's a green tea, like a Chinese green tea. And again, I sweeten my tea, so I have additional sugar. And because I drink coffee with creamer in it, I added my own. And to heat it, I'm not using the little Esbit stove because I would have to do that outside, and right now the weather is crap and I just don't feel like it. So plus I went to do an experiment. I have some more of these ration heaters. These are from the USMRE. This is a 2013 ration heater. So I am going to experiment by putting this can in here. So this is the heating element. I'm going to do a test fit first to see if the can will go in. It may or may not. If it doesn't, I'll just wrap the heater around it. But this is just a test fit to see if it'll go in. Nope, it's going to be too thick. It's too wide. Plus too tall, so I'm just going to wrap the heater around the can like this, and then I have a towel that I'll wrap the whole thing in. I did the same thing with the British MRE. The pouches were too wide for the heater, so I just wrapped it. And I'm going to activate the heater with a little bit of sea salt. I have a sea salt grinder. fill. Now folding the top over a couple of times. This thing is already starting to get hot, so I'm wrapping it off camera just because it's just easier to do that. I'm just going to lean that against my table down on the floor. In the meantime, I'm going to prepare the soup. This calls for 250 mils of hot water. I have a carafe that I put my hot water in after I heated it. I'm using my I use my coffee pot to heat the water because that's just convenient. I'm going to give that a stir to make sure that this all gets dissolved or hydrated. And then I'll let that sit for a few minutes. It's more like a broth because there's really not much of there's nothing to this, which gives me an idea. Now I am opening up the tea. I have another brand of mint tea that I have had a few cups of. It's a combination of 3 mints, but it's not, it's just strictly mint. There's no actual tea leaves in it. I can definitely smell the mint coming off of this. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. I'm going to put sugar in. we'll just get green. I'll set that back here to let it do its thing, and I'm going to make the coffee. The best buy date on this ration, the box said 2019 or 2018. But some of the components had a best buy date of 2019. And I think one even said 2020. But I'd have to double check those. The ration heater is going to go for at least 10 minutes. Which will give me plenty of time to sample the other things. There's the coffee done. I'll give the tea a bit of a stir, just kind of help it along. It's not going to get too much darker. It's going to stay green because it is a green tea. With the mint added. I'm opening up the chocolate biscuits. I have nothing to put on these, but that's okay. My idea for the salty ones, the salty crackers, is I may break these up and put them in the soup. I'm going to open up the nougat bar. It has a toffee feel to it, but on the sides this is an edible rice paper. Some people who see these bars might not realize that or know that, and they may try to peel it off, but this, I put this rice paper on so that you hold it like this and your fingers don't get sticky, because this is a pretty sticky one. Now this is the apricot, it says pâté de fruit, so it's a fruit pâté bar. But when you look at it, it's the jelly bar, so it's almost, if I take my light off, you can see right through it. Put my light back on. So So that's the apricot bar, and this is the apricot peach energy bar. It has a similar feel to the coffee bar, but see, there's a piece of fruit right there, and there's another little piece right there, so there's fruit bits throughout this bar, and I think there's also going to be more of those crispy bits. So there are the 3 bars. I just grabbed the other pack of the savory bars. I may add a 3rd one. And I'll keep them handy if I choose to use them. If not, they'll be with the supper. It looks like here is an actual piece of something that has reconstituted. But I'm going to give this another stir. I can definitely smell the fish. What kind of fish? I don't know what they use for these soups. I'm going to go ahead and try this first on its own. See if I need to doctor it up with the crackers. Yeah, it tastes like a fish stock or fish broth, but it's not clear like an actual stock, so there's other bits in there. It's just that you can't see it because it was all a powder form. So I'm going to bust these, or I'll bust one cracker and drop it in. And I give it a little texture. See how that goes. I'm not sure if a French soldier would do that in the field. If he or she had this particular combination, this type of a broth soup, and these crackers or biscuits, or if they would simply eat it like straight up without it, or they would just put it in a cup and drink it. Because you could easily do that, but I wanted to put it in a bowl to show you what it looks like, because I only have one other container that can handle the hot water. I do have this one, but I use this for measuring because I wanted to be sure that I had the right amount. So I'll give it a taste with a piece of cracker in it. You know, the salt in the cracker comes out, and the cracker dissolves in it. So, but I think it adds to the flavor, because this is how I like soup with bits action I can actually taste and chew. or you may take the whole cracker and dip it in there. I think I'm going to go ahead and this is the apricot energy bar. I'm going to go ahead and give a taste of it. Apricot flavor definitely comes out, and it does have those crispy rice bits in it. It's pretty good. I like it. Some people may like this kind of thing, some don't, but I do. I'm going to go ahead and give a taste of the fruit nougat bar. So I'm gonna I think this end has a better couple of different fruit pieces that I can see, so I'll bite off this end. I definitely picked up on the pineapple. And these are apparently the other fruits that are in there. I think one is supposed to be like a mango. And the other fruits may be like pomegranate or papaya. I'm not sure what they are, but I'm assuming they're tropical fruits. But I like that. And having the rice paper on the side is definitely a plus. This is the jelly bar, or the apricot potato fruit, as it says. It's got a sugar coating on the outside. It's like those jelly candies from years back, or you can get things like the jellied orange slices or lime slices or whatever. Some candy companies make these jelly candies that are in the shape of pieces of the fruit they're representing. But I can definitely taste the apricot in this. Yeah, it's got the tartness, but the sugar gives it the sweetness. So, yeah, I like these. Here is the mint tea, the green tea. I squeeze out the tea bags because I want to get all that goodness. Don't want to waste any of it. I think that's a spearmint, because it does not taste like peppermint. I think it's a spearmint tea. And it's really good. This is a nice tea. Nice green color from both the green tea and the mint. Yep, that one's a winner. So I'm going to check on I'm flipping the can over and putting the top side against the heater. I think it still has a ways to go. So in the meantime, I think I'll have some more of this soup. The reason why I picked this particular ration was I've been looking for halal rations. They are very hard to find. And a few weeks back, you'll see that I have the British ORP, or Operational Ration Pack Halal menu H4. And that was the chicken with dal. And I have the 12-hour ration version of that coming to me. So I'm hoping to get that next week. So it'll be interesting to see the comparison between the 12-hour and the 24-hour British rations. And then a few months before that, I had a U.S. halal ration, and that was I believe that was that was a beef one, but I'd have to dig back into those videos to see that. And then I had a Singapore ration with, it had the 2 mains plus a dessert. It was an incomplete pack, but I want to try it anyway. And so I went to look for more halal rations. And for those that do not know what halal means, it means permissible. It is a certification that a food item is permissible for a Muslim to eat. You know, there's no pork ingredients in it. There is no alcohol ingredients in it. The meat is sourced from animals that are humanely slaughtered or according to Islamic teaching, much like kosher would be for the Jews, where an animal is slaughtered and processed according to Jewish teaching. So halal is to Muslims that kosher is to Jews. And of course, Muslims can eat kosher foods, and so if a halal item is hard to find or non-existent in your area, if there's a kosher version, you can go for that. So I wouldn't actually mind trying to find a kosher labeled ration. Whether military or civilian, it would be interesting to find one of those. But that's why I looked specifically for the halal rations, because I want to try them. I want to show that these are available for Muslims who are either in the military or who may enter, or if they are in another type of service where they need a field ration, or if you are getting rations for emergency preparedness storage, and I may, as time and budget allows. I live on disability, so it's very hard to do this, and I dropped a lot of money for this, but it's worth it. It's worth trying this, and I really wanted to bring this one to you all. So here it is. Taking a sip of the coffee. It's the same coffee that I had for breakfast. And because I use 3 drinks for breakfast, I will only have one drink for supper, but that's okay. That'll be the hot cocoa, and I want to save that for last anyway. Because, I want to end the day with the chocolate. So, that's why I'm doing that. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up the heater. I'm going to move the soup back. If a person in the field was using their espit stove or using other means to heat this can, you have this holder, and what you do, you put it on like this, and it will hold the can. You could lift it off, and if you're doing if it is already on the fire and you want to lift it off without touching it, you do it like that. And it's easy to knock it off. Just tip it forward. And because it's steel, and it has like I said in the breakfast video when I opened it up, this has a sharp enough edge you could rip sparks off a ferro rod. I've opened the can. And this is what it looks like. It's packed pretty tight in here. I'm going to lift up the tuna. I can definitely smell it. Of course, I'm also still smelling the fish soup. This is the tuna. It is an albacore tuna. It's supposed to be one of the more sought after varieties of tuna. There is a piece of pepper, like red bell pepper, I think. Nope, that's tomato. But there's assorted vegetables in here. And a tomato sauce. Big pieces of a potato. This is good. This is definitely a nice lunch. it was definitely worth the wait to get this. The potato pieces are soft yet not mushy. The vegetables are quite soft, but I'm okay with that. I would regard this more like a stew. So there you have it. This is lunch. I'm just going to bring the soup back in. So this is the lunch. Fish soup, tuna with potatoes in a tomato sauce with other vegetables. Green mint tea and coffee, plus the 3 bars and the 2 biscuits. So I have one crumbled up in there that's pretty much all dissolved, and I have one more, and then the 2 chocolate biscuits. And these other 2 savory ones I'll have a supper. So that was lunch. So I will finish this off and then get this video uploaded. And then I'll be back in a few hours with the supper. So thanks for watching and see you in a few hours.